not that it wasn't cool to collect Barbie, but Barbie was just getting kind of a bad rep. Like, oh, she's the basic doll. Welcome, everybody, to Out of the Box. We have Johnny, Chloe, and of course myself, Elvira, from the Doll Circle. And today we are going to be talking about Barbie, our second episode. So far better than a lot of the other projects I've started, where I start with one and then it's gone. So today we're doing all Barbie themed because, as we know, and as we can see everywhere, the world is pink because it is the summer of Barbie. And I guess let's go with Chloe since she's sitting in the middle with her Barbie shirt.
Hi guys, we're back, episode 2. I'm really excited. Because pink is one of my favorite colors. I'm happy. I'm happy with Barbie right now. I am living for it. I love it. I just love Barbie right now. I'm not a huge avid Barbie collector, but it's just been really exciting to see the marketing for this movie. It has been wow. Unlike anything I've ever seen before. I don't think I've ever seen any movie get marketed so well like this one.
It's everywhere.
It's insane.
Like,
yes, it's
like
insane.
popcorn buckets. I mean, yes, there's been popcorn buckets for other movies, but I feel like every theater has had shirts, towels, like accessories. I mean, even down to like that, which normally, yes, again, you sometimes see like themed buckets for like Marvel movies, but it's insane. Like it's everywhere. Burgers
I
with
didn't know
like,
I didn't know it could be such a like thing for people to go out and collect popcorn buckets from like movie theaters. I've like that's been something I've been noticing recently. But yeah, the marketing with this movie has been amazing. I think they did such an amazing job. Not only did they come out with this movie and market it so well, but they also collaborated with every single brand known to man. I feel like every single day there was a Barbie launch somewhere, something. And if they didn't have a Barbie collaboration, they put out all of their pink, all of their Barbie core, just everything. And I was here for it. I love me some Barbie, some pink, some merch. It's been so amazing to see just Barbie. Like I don't know, it's also amazing in a dog collector type of way, right? Because we always want representation. And I feel like with this movie, it's really given us, I'm seeing people I never thought, would talk about Barbie talking about Barbie.
yeah.
And it's been so amazing.
So wild. Did you have, because of the movie like coming out, I noticed a lot of people feeling, nostalgic for their past. For either of you, has there been a Barbie that has really stood out in your past that you're like, oh, I miss her, or, I regret not getting her, or something, like a favorite Barbie that you've had from the past?
For me, one of the Barbies I went to, there's this thrift place where it's like really huge and they have like a booths of different like products and stuff. And I remember specifically one day I went to this booth and they had like a bunch of dolls and it had like a wall of Barbie. And specifically, it was a Toy Story 2 Barbie. I think it was the one where, you know, that scene where like they're in like the toy store and like it's like the Barbie, she's like
Yes.
chauffeuring around in the little car.
Yes.
I believe it was that Barbie from Toy Story 2. And
Toy
I
Story
really
2.
wanted her.
Oh,
I don't remember specifically, but I do remember saying Toy Story 2 and it had like Rex or something on the box. I don't remember correctly. If someone knows what it is, put it down in the comments below, or if you're listening, tag us. But yeah, I think that's one of the times I really wanted a Barbie. I didn't get her, and then I remember going back like the week after that, and she was not there anymore. So sad. I really wanted her. But other than that, I am not an avid Barbie collector. I never really was. I only have one Barbie in my collection, which is another Toy Story Barbie, the one that she's like in the blue little jumpsuit, like little workout outfit.
the
That's
workout Barbie.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, that's the only Barbie I own.
So I think the theme is with you is that if it's Toy Story and it's Barbie, you'll buy it. Okay.
Okay. Hey, did you have any Toy Story? I think for me, like the Barbies that I gravitate towards are the ones that are like the collab Barbies. I like there's a SpongeBob Barbie, there's like the Scooby Doo Barbie. I really like those. So it's just something like the Halloween Barbies. I like those. That's what I gravitate towards. Like when they do like the collabs, like the crazy kooky outfits. Those are like the Barbies I gravitate towards. I haven't bought any, but after seeing the Barbie movie, maybe I might get a couple.
So that's a good point. With this movie, is it causing people to kind of go, you know what? I'm going to give Barbie a chance that maybe before in the past 10 years, 15 years, because Barbie has shifted in her themes over the past few decades. I mean, is that causing you to want to buy Barbies because of the movie? Then the marketing really worked. That's something I really think would be interesting from a doll collector's perspective who never even thought about Barbie. Does the movie kind of, I don't know, push you to want to buy them? Is that
For me it does. For me it does. Definitely. I think I went down this rabbit hole because of the Barbie movie where I started looking at older Barbie dolls that didn't necessarily come out when I was collecting Barbie, or that might have come out, but because I wasn't into Barbie at the time, I didn't get them. Like Johnny said, the Scooby Doo ones. Those are some of my favorites. They're on my
Love
wish
that.
list. I definitely want those. Another collection, I guess, that I would want is the Candy Glam collection. It came out around 2009, and I love sweet themed dolls, or sweet themed anything, honestly. And those dolls were sweet themed. And one of the Barbies from that collection was one of my Barbies when I was growing up. And she was my main character. She was quote unquote me in the little Barbie universe. And I remember I loved her. I played with her so much, and I unfortunately ruined her. Yep, I messed up her hair. It was a tragedy. It with the whole Barbie movie, I have like looked back on certain Barbie dolls that I want to get now, including the Halloween Target exclusive ones. Oh my God. Those are some of my favorites.
sad story. I had all of them from like every year and I sold them all. And now I'm regretting it because now people are starting to get like with Halloween coming up in the next well, for me, Halloween's already started, but it's coming up, And obviously with the Barbie movie, and I'm seeing all these people post all these nostalgic Halloween Barbies, and I'm like, oh gosh, I sold them all. Why did I do that?
I had that one.
I regret it so much. See, for me, it's totally different because my whole life revolved around Barbie, and my primary doll collecting up until the Monster High release in like 2013. That's all I ever really had was Barbie. I grew up with Barbie. I didn't know anything else. I do obviously remember when Bratz hit the shelves, but I was still in Barbie world. So I never bought Bratz. Like I saw them there. I did see I remember seeing like my scene, and I saw other dolls, right? But I never got into them. So for me, the Barbie movie, I've enjoyed seeing other people experience dolls that I had from the 90s and the 80s now. And I'm seeing people post and share about them. And I'm like, oh, I had that. And it's also been dangerous because I'm remembering certain play sets I had and certain dolls I had growing up. And now I'm going to go back and buy them. And I have. And that's become a problem.
Yes.
I've shifted. I'm like, you know what? I may not be into some of the new Barbies, but I'm sure buying those old ones though. And I've been feeling that. I think, and I've already noticed it because I've been going obviously on eBay, obviously on Macari, other sites, and I've noticed Barbies 3 years ago that I was like $5, $10 or selling for like $30. So I do see, because of the movie, and I guess we can transition into how do we think that the movie will affect Barbie long term. I think it's right now pushing doll sales. Unfortunately, it does have a reseller market, but I think it's getting a lot of people who've been sitting on these Barbies for 20, 30 years they're like, oh, should I hold on to them? Should I sell them? Well, now is the time to sell them because the prices on Barbies, wow. I mean, they really have gone up. So I think it'll help the push for people wanting to buy the old Barbies again, because for a while there, some of these collector Barbies that my mom had, we paid literally like $60 to $100 for, and they were selling for like $10. And now I'm seeing them sell better now. So I'm like, well, if anyone had those dolls as investments, the market has really shifted. Do you feel like this will last a long time? I guess we'll take this with Johnny. Do you think that'll change? Do you think the Barbie movie will have a long-term effect, or is this just like a fad moment for Barbie?
I feel like we're like in if I could say what era Barbie's in, I feel like she's in her revival era. I feel like it is gonna stay. People have revived their love for Barbie. I've seen so many videos of people like just rebuying their like Barbies they had as a child, or like the kids are buying the adults their like Barbies that they grew up with. I saw like a video yesterday of like someone had bought the friendship plane, like a Barbie friendship plane for like their mom, and she opened it and she cried, and like she's like, oh, it healed her inner child. So I think what the Barbie movie did is just it brought everyone together that I didn't think like seeing like everyone going to the movies wearing pink and calling everyone, oh hi Barbie, hi Ken, just walking to the movie theater and everyone's calling themselves Barbie and Ken. Like I feel like it was such a beautiful moment, and I saw like an art earlier in the morning that like it made already made like $1 billion in the box office. It's a huge force to be reckoned with right now. And I feel like it's just gonna pump out more dolls. There's gonna be like more collabs coming out. I feel like this is just the beginning of Barbie. This is like we're not even at the peak. I think it's like it's gonna keep going up at this point. And it's just like I said, it's just reviving everyone's love for Barbie. And I am here for it, even though I am not a Barbie collector myself. I did kind of want like the Barbie movie dolls. I think those are the ones I kind of want, like the Western ones and like the skating ones. Which otherwise, if the Barbie movie didn't come out, I probably wouldn't even want to buy Barbies. Like I see some of them, I appreciate them. I am not a Barbie hater. I know some people out there like very one team or one team. We can love everything. So I do
Agree.
appreciate them for what they are, but it did push me just a little bit to want a couple of Barbies here and there.
I agree. I definitely agree with you, Johnny. I think right now Barbie's on. She's riding her wave right now, and she's been doing it since the beginning of the year. I think since they announced the movie, people got really excited for it. And I agree with you. I've been seeing a lot of videos and a lot of people going down memory lane. I think what the Barbie movie did was it opened up that nostalgia feeling for Barbie, and I've been seeing a lot of people open up dolls that they've had in a box for so many years. I've seen people buy dolls for other people, or even the Barbie movie dolls. I've seen a lot of kids buy their, like you said, parents that doll and give it to them. And I think it's so beautiful. I think it's one of the best things that came out of this Barbie movie experience was seeing just everybody come together for the love of dolls. Because we've always loved dolls, but to see people who don't collect dolls now feel this like love and nostalgia for Barbie and dolls in general, I think it's one of the best things that has come out.
I
And yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think I hope it's not just a short-term fad, but I feel like Barbie has never gone away. I mean, even in her 65, she'll be 65 next year, her 65 years that yes, she's like you said, has had eras, has had waves. Obviously, we've seen dips here or there, and I feel like for her, the past decade has been quiet. I feel like
Yeah.
yes, there's been some dolls that have sold well for Mattel, like the color reveal dolls have sold well. I mean, for that market, but I feel like it hasn't sparked the joy and the love from the collector end. And I've been collecting, obviously. I've never even though unfortunately like I don't showcase it a lot on my channel, I still have always bought Barbies even in the background, or if I go to like toy shows or thrift stores, it's just that I was like, oh, I'll just talk about Rainbow High or I'll just talk about Monster High because that's what was popular in the doll community world. So I'm hoping now with the Barbie movie, which I've seen, that people are getting that spark and going, you know what, it's okay to like Barbie again. Because I feel like for a while there, especially from a collector's perspective, not to again, this is gonna sound silly, not that it wasn't cool to collect Barbie, but Barbie was just getting kind of a bad rep. Like, oh, she's the basic doll, or oh, she's just a playline doll, or oh, she's the color reveal fashionista. And there really wasn't anything intriguing about her. And I feel like with the movie and with getting all of this like spark of nostalgia, it's getting the intrigue back. And I'm hoping that Mattel is watching, listening, observing the toy community, at least from the collector's perspective, and really listening like to what we want. So from yes, we see that Barbie's in her revival era. I wonder, do we think now? Because again, every 10 years we had the first era of Barbie, and then we had Malibu Barbie in the 70s, and it shifted, and she had like a tan, and her eyes changed, and then 80s we had the glam, and then the 90s was just pink everywhere, and in the 2000s she kind of became the doll next door, so to speak. Like she was wearing denim shorts and a flower print top. Do we think that because of this, Barbie will go more into a pink era? Will it change not only just the toy community, but will it change Barbie? Do we think it's going to go more pink again? Do we feel like that? Do either of you have anything to say about like, will she stay pink because the movie's pink going forward for dolls?
I hope she does. I hope
I
she
see
stays
it does
pink.
too, because I miss the glam era. I miss the 80s.
Yes, I want her to move more into that direction because I want to give my opinion about the movie, but one thing that I didn't like from the movie was the ending. I did not like the ending. As someone
Spoiler
who grew
moment.
up,
If anyone's watching this has not seen the movie. I'm aware. I haven't seen the movie. I have actually a whole entire I think I want to do a video on why I don't want to see the Barbie movie, but uh it's a whole I'm being exposed. But I'm aware of the ending. And so spoiler if anyone wants to not know, I'm gonna say it because I did not like the line where, and again, it's not, I don't know, just seeing Margot Robbie in a blazer and jeans took me out of the element of fantasy. So I'm sorry I'm taking over this moment, Clay, because I know you're talking. But to me,
it's okay.
Barbie to me has always been a fantasy. Even growing up, and again, I grew up with an era where she was already in the fantasy. I think people growing up in the 2000s missed out on Barbie with the glam, the shoulder pads, the over the top, the sequence, the blue eyeshadow. So in the again, spoiler for at the end of the movie, she's wearing a blazer and denim. I'm kind of sad that she does. I want her to stay in the glam era. So I'm hoping the dolls will have a shift. I'm hoping that regardless of the era or the ending of the movie, regardless of that, I hope the dolls themselves go into, like you said, the candy line. Why was the candy line fun? Colorful, different, fantasy.
Yes.
I want Barbie to still have a pair of jeans. I love when a doll just wears a hoodie. I think it's cute, but I want it to still be in a fantasy world, and I don't want Barbie to be taken out of the fantasy world. I want to join her in the fantasy world. Don't come to this world. This isn't fun. It's your world, So the only thing I'm concerned about is that I don't personally like the fact that I'm like, oh, why can't she just stay in the fantasy land? I hope if Patel's watching this, keep her fantasy. I want glam. Bring the shine back, the ball gowns.
Yes. I agree with you. That's my only thing about the movie is that they kind of took her out of this fantasy land, and you know what, the director did what they had to do, and it came out how it did, and I respect it and everything. But growing up, for me personally, as a transgender kid, I lived through my dolls. I lived in that fantasy that I wanted to be real. Now that it is real for me, I still go to my dolls to live out a fantasy dream of mine. So anything that I'm personally not doing or I'm not living, they're living. And they're living in that fantasy. And for me to take Barbie out of Barbie land and put her in the real world, it's not for me. It's just not. It's not. And moving forward, I hope they do stay in the pink even a little bit longer, just because I do miss all of the sparkles, all of the glam, the gowns, the glitz. I live for that. That's for me. Like I said, I'm very into fantasy dolls. That's why I really loved Ever After High, and that's why I really loved Barbie when they would do fun fantasy themed dolls that I could put into my world, and they would work. They would work, and yeah, that's my only thing about that.
With dolls in general, and Johnny, I know that obviously were never really Barbie focused, but dolls in general, I guess this question could be put to you. Do you live in a fantasy with your dolls? Is the dolls see, even for Rainbow High, for example, I know all three of us are really big Rainbow High fans. I enjoy looking at the dolls because again, it's a fantasy. Does anybody really in school wear stilettos and wear occasionally?
I knew a couple of girls in my high school that wore stilettos every single day.
But it's one of those things, right? When we watch Rainbow High movies, when we even look at the dolls, it is in a fantasy world. It's the understanding of this is an alternate universe. And I want to try to always keep my dolls in that world because I want to live in that world. I don't want Barbie to come out and have to pay her rent. I don't want Barbie to be like, oh well, eggs have gone up in price. I guess we're not eating this morning. It's I don't want to out in that real world. Do you feel like with your dolls, again, I know not Barbie, but just dolls in general, have you always thought of them as being in a fantasy world? Have your dolls been in doll world, not Barbie land, but doll world?
Yeah, I do believe my dolls have been in doll world. My earlier dolls, which I've cut their hair, they're in Barbie land walking around somewhere with short bobs. But yeah, I really like the more how Chloe said, the more fantasy dolls. I've never gravitated towards dolls that look that they're wearing normal people clothing. I do like the fashion stuff, but even with Rainbow High, the fashion is still, to me, it seems kind of fantasy-ish. It doesn't seem like they are inspired by normal clothing, but they are in a more fantasy way. Like even with Shadow High, like I'm looking at Demi, like I don't think anyone's wearing that like out in high school, you know. So I do like the fantasy stuff, and like when I would play with them, my earliest like memory of playing with dolls was when I would go to my cousin's house. We were like best friends, and she had dolls, but for her, she had brats. So I grew up playing with brats. She was a Bratz girly. We never played Barbie. She didn't have Barbies. She just gravitated towards brats, and that's when I had like my first little look into brats. And not trying to. This is a Barbie episode, so let me not talk too much about brats. But yeah, that was like that for me. That was my first introduction to dolls. So I think maybe that's kind of how I gravitated towards that, and not Barbie. Maybe it would have turned out differently if she had Barbies. I'm like, oh my god, these are so cool. But like to me, my introduction to dolls was the brats. So that's what.
But
And
was
it
Bratz still a fantasy for you? Even though, yes, during the 2000s era, jeans, flared pants, you know, a lot of the tan, those different colors were, but I feel like Bratz still kept it in a fantasy world, even though the clothes were clothes that people were wearing during the Y2K fashion era. I feel like it was still fantasy in some level. So I don't want anyone to hear this and go, oh my gosh, she hates denim, which I don't like. But I'm just using that as an example where, yes, brats were still wearing everyday clothing, but still keeping it with a level of fantasy where it wasn't a ball gown and they still were relatable to every day. For some reason, I feel like Barbie has sometimes missed the mark on that when they try to wear relatable clothing. And Claudine and I always joke, there's one Barbie, and many of us who are Barbie collectors know that she's wearing a romper with popsicles all over it. And I'm like, oh, so that's what they think people wear every day? You know, and again, it's fantasy in that extent, but also I just feel like Barbie has sometimes missed the mark when it comes to balancing the fantasy world and the everyday world. And I really hope with this movie that, yes, the ending, but I hope the doll end of it, that they continue on to a more fantasy type of era, a pink era, if you will. To kind of wrap up this Barbie episode today, I know we touched on a little bit like Barbie dolls that we loved or that we liked. Is there any Barbie that you would like to see? And I guess I'll take this over to Johnny since you tend to like collabs. Is there a Barbie collab that you would like to see?
Ooh, I love that question. There's like so many. There's like so many things that I would love to see. I kind of want to see like Drag Race and Barbies. I feel like drag queens and Barbies. I feel like we need that. I'm wearing a Trixie shirt. Come on now, Trixie Mattel. We need that. Why wasn't she in the Barbie movie? I feel like there's a market for that, and people would love that. Even like people that don't even know who drag queens are, like their outfits are on point. Trixie's outfits, like just like a bunch of dolls. I know Manila has her own like doll line of dolls. Pearl has dolls. And just like I feel like that would appeal to people that love drag queens and kids as well, because like these outfits are colorful, they're fun, they're huge, their hair is so amazing. You could play with the hair, you can style the hair. So I feel like that would be some fun collabs to do with Barbie. I would really love that. And also just dip into the waters of like maybe this could be even like for adult collectors, but like some horror dolls. Like you know how like we have the collectors for Monster High, but like let's Barbie do that too. I want Barbie to do that too.
Not to interrupt you, they did have a haunted series where they had the collector dolls, which now the one I'm looking at still sells for like $1,000. I'll probably never own her unless I win the lottery.
Yeah, those are expensive.
But they have the haunted series, so they did make spooky collector dolls. But they just haven't done that many for whatever reason, and I feel like they need to do more. All right, everybody, before Chloe drives off, is there any collabs that you want to see, Chloe?
Yes, there is. There. Why does that sound so funny? We're being goofy, but yeah. Any collabs? I just want Barbie to bring back the collab with everything in doll form, because I remember there used to be like a Walmart collab, this collab, that collab, but it was also very accessible to everyone. I feel like now it's very much like collector collab. Like,
you know what?
it's only collector.
I can totally see that. I do remember like there was always like special editions like at like you said Walmart and stuff. So they were a little bit more still collector dolls, but still exclusive to a location that was still readily accessible. So I feel like it had that balance. I'm on the same page with Johnny. I would love to see the Haunted series come back. I loved those dolls. I regret not getting them. My mom bought some, and I, to this day, I'm trying to get her to give me one. But I love the spookier end of things. So I think if they did a more of the Haunted dolls, that's totally the collab I would love to see continue happen, but do it with a licensed spooky thing.
Yes.
But I love it though. Honestly, I guess to wrap up this episode, I overall though have enjoyed seeing everybody in Barbie land as we lounge in our home right now. We're lounging in our Barbie home. I'm on the couch. Yeah. Those of you who aren't watching us, these episodes are available on my YouTube channel, The Doll Circle, if you want to see how silly we actually look. If not, I do appreciate everybody who is listening to us on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere that you can hear fun little podcasts on. So to go forward, we don't know what we're going to do for the third episode. We're doing this as we go here, and it's been a lot of fun. And I hope we, entertain you. If you do want to have like a particular topic brought up, definitely hit us up on our socials, either Johnny's Toy World on Instagram or Chloe's World 96, or of course me at the Doll Circle. We'd love for just, let us know, what do you want us to talk about? So until next time, this was Out of the Box with Elvira, Johnny, and Chloe as she drives off. Wave everybody. Bye from Barbie.
Bye.
Make sure to follow at the Doll Awards on Instagram to get all of your updates for this year's Doll Awards.